Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Open Mic Podcast. My name is Caroline. I am a junior at Columbia University, and I'm so excited to be hosting this series where we'll be talking about school and life and everything in between. Each episode will feature a new topic and a different guest, and today I'm so excited to be introducing my good friend, James Kim. James, thanks so much for being here with me today.
Yeah, hi, Caroline. It's so great to be here. Thanks for having me on the show. And yeah, I'm so super excited, and let's get right into it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, James. Before we get started, do you want to kind of give an intro as to who you are and where you're studying and what we're going to be talking about today?
Yeah. So I'm James, as you already know, but I'm a junior studying medical science at BU with a minor in psych. And yeah, I'm just part of the 7-year medical program here at BU. But it's not anything special. Like, don't take it any differently as you would with any other pre-med student. We're just lucky enough that we got it on the first try.
So modest. Yeah, no, but James is a great person, I think, to talk to because he's always like super personable and just has lots of great and fun things to say. And we know each other not through college because I'm not at BU, but we knew each other since, well, like high school, kind of like before high school.
Yeah, like I think we started talking after 8th grade. That summer in the summer camp. Yeah, that's when we like. I knew you existed in middle school, but we never really talked until starting like 8th grade summer. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was at the biotechnology summer camp at Stony Brook.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was when I actually posted my first YouTube video, which is like a hair tutorial. So the reasoning behind that, it was like a twist and tuck. So basically it was a way to tie up your hair without using a hair tie. The rationale behind that video was because we were talking about like forgetting hair ties in like with some of the girls at the summer camp. I don't know. I thought it'd be fun to just make a video about that. But yeah. Enough about me. Talk about James and your decision to go into medicine and why you chose BU for it.
Yeah. So for me, I kind of went through high school, like kind of like most high schoolers, like not knowing what to do with their life. Like I just kind of went in kind of like free spirited, and like my parents, like, thank God, like they never really pushed me into any career. They're always like, just do what you want to do and like have fun. And like, you only go through high school once. So like, I kind of took that and kind of like went along with it. I think like I had a spree where I wanted to like just go into baseball, like play professionally at a point. I wanted to just go into medicine. I wanted to go into like engineering. And then so like, I just kind of had to dabble in everything. And then so when I applied to schools, I was just kind of like, I guess I'll apply to medical school. You know, like I didn't really know what to do with my life, but I just knew like medicine as a career is a very stable job, and like nobody's gonna run out of doctors. So I kind of thought like, hey, like medicine seems really cool, like I should check it out. And then so I applied to a bunch of medical programs because that's what my brother did earlier. So I kind of took that and went along with it, and then I ended up going to BU or getting accepted into BU first, and then it was just like, hey, like I guess I'll like go check it out and see what it's like. Because for me, my career path, I kind of decided like I wanted to become a professor, but like I didn't really know specifically what. Like I wanted to get a PhD in something, but I didn't really have like that one subject where I'm like, this is what I want to study for like the rest of my life. So I kind of like chose medicine because I was like, it's pretty stable, like it's a secure job, it's a secure, like it's a really good field of subject to study. So I kind of decided like medicine is like really good career. So I'm going to go down this path and like see where it takes me. And so that's how I ended up at BU.
Yeah. Nice. And I love that. I love how you like said that your parents didn't push you to do a specific job. And your parents are really nice. Yeah. I'm like, I could see them being really nice parents. Why did you like specifically, is it because BU had that program that you came here?
I actually kind of applied to a lot of schools. I applied to 20 schools, but mainly because like I wanted to apply mostly to just undergrads. And then my parents kind of told me like, you only get to apply to colleges once. So like, might as well go out with a bang and apply to as many as you can. And then just see where your options lie, you know? So I was like, honestly, like, why not? So I just applied to as many schools as I could. I applied to all the schools that I wanted to, and like because my dad works at a university, so that was kind of like my safety. So I knew that I could always like fall back onto that. So I only applied to like all the schools that like were like reaches for me. So obviously the results didn't come out that well. But it was like kind of like I knew all the schools that I applied to were like going to be really hard to get into. So I kind of just casted my net like really wide and see like where I could land. And so I ended up applying to like 10 medical programs like BU and 10 just like undergrad like top tier schools. But BU was my best option out there. So I kind of decided, you know what, that's like probably where fate is going to take me. So I kind of just went along with it. So now I'm studying medicine.
Nice. And you're majoring in medical sciences, is that what it's called?
Yeah, so it's kind of weird because it's not an official like undergrad major recognized by the school. So it's really different from pre-med where like you usually pick like a hard science, or like you pick a major and then you say you're on the pre-med track. Whereas for us, our major is technically medical science, but it's not a recognized major by the school. So it's kind of like a fake major. And so that's kind of like how B gets you, because like you have to stay there for the next 7 years, because like if you don't, you graduate with a degree in medical science, but that's not like recognized by the school. So it's kind of like a huge commitment for the next 7 years.
Oh, gotcha. That's so interesting. Yeah. I didn't know that. I thought maybe like you chose like a major of your choice.
Like a major.
Oh no, but that's not because it like is combined, because like usually the med track undergrad plus med school is like at least 8 years, like if you don't take gap years in between.
Yeah.
And so they're condensing it into 7 years, right? So is that what medical sciences major is kind of helping you do?
Yeah, so it helps a lot. It was just so that like I don't have to fulfill like a specific science major requirement, which is really difficult to fit in 3 years in general. So yeah, that's why they gave us like a fake medical science major, so that like it's not officially recognized by the school, but that's also why we could graduate within, or not technically graduate, but like move to the med school within 3 years, so that like we don't have to fulfill all the requirements that like bio majors, chem majors, like the science majors usually have to do. So it actually makes it a lot easier on us to skip a year ahead for the medical school. Nice. So yeah, but also like one like really nice thing about the program is it forces you to take a minor in a non-hard science major. So that's why I minored in psychology. But we have like kids going into like economics, like public health, hospitality. So it's a bunch of different, so it broadens your view. It forces you to broaden your view outside of like, like the hard science scope.
Yeah, that's so cool. Wait, is there an official name for the program?
Yeah, so it's like the 7-year BAMD accelerated medical program, but for short, we just call it SMED, like 7-year med.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Yeah, I was doing some reading on the program before this. Mm-hmm. Is it like kind of not humanities focused, but like they kind of encourage you to do humanities? Okay.
Yeah, so besides we're only required to take the science classes that are required for pre-med to apply to medical school. So like to go into medical school, I think you're required, don't quote me on this, but you're required like a year of biology, a year of biochemistry, like a year of all the sciences. And then apart from that, like BU encourages us to actually take non-science courses. So that's where a lot of students in the program actually go into like taking psychology courses, sociology courses. So for me, I got to take music theories, and that was really fun. And I know like if I were a regular pre-med, I would have I would struggle to find like time or like credits that I could fill in with like music theory or other electives like that. Yeah. So being in the program really helped me a lot to explore like fields I would never have like thought of exploring.
Yeah, that's nice, because you're also like you play violin, right? Or violin.
Yeah.
Violin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right.
Both. Yeah.
Oh, both? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So was that nice to kind of get in touch with your hobby, I guess, from high school or like from your childhood?
Yeah. So I came into college, like always wanted to try out music theory because like, so I grew up like playing the violin and viola, not like because I wanted to. I grew up kind of like my mom like told me like I had to play an instrument. And so like violin was just like given to me. But like that made me realize like after graduating high school and going to college, like I gave up playing the violin, I but then I started like wanting to play music again, but not the violin, but like I just wanted to like make my own music or like understand music. And so like that's kind of like when I took the class. And then this semester I'm actually like learning the guitar. So it's been like super fun, just like touching, like getting in touch back with my roots, you know?
Yeah, like when you're a kid, it's like forced on you. But then if you develop the interest organically, it's something that you like will want to keep doing.
Yeah. So I've always like liked like pop music and like contemporary music. So like that's why playing the violin was such a struggle for me because I was like, I'm not interested in like music written like 400 years ago. Like I want to play like, you know, like the pop songs that I hear today. So like that's kind of what got me into like guitar and like just music theory because like just like hearing the songs and like understanding it is just like really really intrigued me.
Now you get to take classes that you're really interested in. How does the
Mhm.
rigor of the program compare to high school or like what you would have expected college to be?
Yeah, so fresh it's kind of interesting because the program is made so that your first year is the hardest and then it gradually gets easier. And the reason why first year is the hardest is because we take chemistry and physics classes that are for chemistry majors and physics majors. So it's not like your introductory chemistry or introductory physics classes. It's kind of like it's for like those introductory classes for those specific majors. So it wasn't just like gen chem, gen physics. It was like intensive chemistry and intensive physics. So having to do both of them was like super tough because it's not easy, like not saying like any science is easy, but it was a lot more work. And like labs were 4 hours for each class and every week. So you're already putting in 8 hours of work in a week. And then plus on top of that, you have to like go to your classes, study for your tests and weekly quizzes. So it was just a lot the first year. And then after that, I guess like you kind of just realize like your second and third year, like if you already made it your first year, you can make it through your second and third year. So it definitely helped out a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's good because, for example, this is like not the same at all as your program, but when I'm scheduling classes, I always see like, okay, Mondays, I just want to get as many classes as I can. So then Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday's like, wow, so nice. And then Friday,
Yeah.
there's no classes. Okay, I feel like that's like an encouraging, kind of encouraging you to move forward and like just to continue in the program, right?
Yeah. So like, yeah, after freshman year of doing all the labs, then by sophomore year, your labs turn into like every other week. And so it goes bi-weekly. So your schedule opens up a lot more. And then that's when a lot of students in the program start to explore like different subjects. Because the first year is really hard because you have to get rid of all your like gen eds. And so trying to like getting over that hump is a lot. For gen eds at BU, it's kind of different. It's called the BU Hub now. And so it's a bunch of different, you need like credits in like a bunch of different categories that they give you. And so it's kind of like fitting like a puzzle with all the classes that you want to take, and then all the credits that you get, the hub credits that you get for the class that you get to take. And so it's kind of a struggle having to deal with only 3 years and like all the electives that you want to take, but all the electives you can only take because you have to fill your hub credits up with like other classes that you don't really want to take. But I'm really glad that like I got to take like music theory. I had space to like now I'm taking like a class on graphic novels. So it's been super fun just to getting to explore like non-science classes.
Yeah, that sounds so cool. Wait, what is the graphic novels class about?
Yeah, it's literally just called graphic novel and it's just like reading through and analyzing graphic novels. We're about to read Batman and going into like manga. So it's been a super like just like a fun exploring. It's like enlightens you and like makes you look at graphic novels like in a different light. So it's been super fun. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. The 𝗎𝗲𝗓 program sounds so fun. I feel
Yeah.
you can do so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so nice. I wanted to go back to one point that you brought up, like the
Mhm.
intensive chem and physics, or just the intensive science courses.
Yeah.
If you were traditional pre-med at BU, would there
Mhm.
be a non-intensive version? Is that what it is?
Yeah. So if you were a chem major at pre-med at BU, you would take the same chem class, like the same intensive chemistry class, but then you wouldn't be required to take the same intensive physics class.
Oh,
And like vice versa, if you were a physics major, you would take the intensive physics class, but you're not required to take the intensive chemistry class. But
got
for us coming in as medical science majors, we were expected to do both. And
right.
so that's why it's a huge struggle to like have like learning how to manage your time with like both like classes, especially like, coming in from high school, like not really knowing like what the workload is like. And then they're like, bam, like you're taking two of the hardest classes like freshmen can take
Yeah.
in like their respective majors. So I was like, wow, this is a lot. But like at the end, I guess there's always like a silver lining to if you've already made it this far in the first year, then like what year could be harder than this? So it was kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then by your third year, you're only required to take biochemistry for one semester. And so this semester, that's where I get to explore any electives that I want without any of the science requirements. And so that's where the program comes in really handy because I'm not a chemistry major, I'm not a physics major, I'm not a biology major. So I'm not required to take upper level biology, chemistry, physics courses that I know I would 100% struggle with. So I'm just happy and glad to get all the sciences over with and move on with my life.
Yeah, that's it. Move on with your. No, that's so nice. That sounds really fun. Do you have classes in mind that you would want to explore?
Yeah, so this is my last semester, unfortunately, to be like,
Right, true.
yeah, because I am a junior now. So
Yeah.
it's like, but it's been like without the program, I would never have been able to take music theory, as I said before, or take graphic novel that I'm doing right now. I'm taking computer science. Like that's been, I don't know, like it's a lot harder than I thought it would be. So but like without the program, I would never have been able to kind of been like, oh, I kind of like this class. I want to try it out. It really opens up your horizons and really kind of encourages you to explore any subject, any topic, anything you might even have like the slightest bit of interest in to just go into it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And also because you don't really have to stack up on your resume as well. It helps me to kind of pursue my interests in like research, but not in because I want to go into like become a professor and get my PhD. It helped me like kind of join a bunch of different labs and not necessarily have to do it for my resume, but because like, oh, I'm really into this topic and I like want to learn more about it.
That's like true interest, a true scientific passion, I feel.
It really helps with a lot of like stress relief. You don't have to do research in order to make yourself like look more competitive. Like you don't have to do anything else because you're already in. So it really allows you to like take the time and explore, I guess like explore things you want to study before going into medicine so that you don't feel like you like go into medical school feeling like you feel left out from your undergrad experience.
That's true. That's really good. That's a good way of putting it. And let's see, what would like a typical day in the life of a 7-year, what do you say it, like SMED?
A SMED?
You're a SMED student, like?
Honestly, it's like nothing too different, it's like we're just normal people like any other pre-med student. So it's like nothing out of the ordinary, I guess, from a normal like STEM major. Freshman year, you're like struggling to like deal with like your social life and all your classes and like you're having a hard time adjusting. I know I spent most of my nights staying up like grinding like labs with all my friends. So that was super tough. Then you kind of like get into the rhythm of it and you just kind of accept like STEM majors it's just tough in general, like going to labs, going to like doing all of your classes. And then you kind of just get like used to it, I guess. You kind of get used to like the schedule of it, like the rigor. And then going through the years, you kind of feel like it's just more of like getting used to it, getting acclimated to the stresses, the weekly lab reports, the weekly like quizzes, and you kind of just like go with the flow essentially.
Nice. Yeah, and you get through it, and then you go on with your life after undergrad. What time would you usually wake up? Is it kind of, are you an early riser or kind of like later?
Yeah. So there's two distinct stages in my life. Pre-COVID, 100% I would like go to sleep by 12, wake up by 8 or 9, and like start my day. And that was all freshman and sophomore year. And then right when COVID hit, classes all went online. And I was like, I would wake up at 8 or 9 and be like, do I really need to go to this class? Like attendance was like optional. So I was like I guess I could sleep in a little bit more. So so now post or like during the pandemic right now, it's definitely been like more of a like 2 a.m. to or like 4 a.m. go to sleep and wake up at like 12 p.m. So I've been meaning to fix that, but yeah, it's been tough, especially when like everything's online and attendance isn't mandatory anymore at BU. And all the lectures are recorded. So it's been how can I say, like there's no real incentive to go to classes anymore.
Wait, so all of your lectures are recorded for every single class?
Yeah. So BU has this new system called Learn from Anywhere. And so this is for any student, even if they're on campus, they can decide to take classes online. And they can, all professors record their lectures, and attendance is always optional.
Oh
and so kids can take it synchronously, asynchronously, like whatever fits their schedules. And this is to help accommodate for a lot of like international students as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's anybody who wants to so I live on campus, but I still decided to take my classes online. And so it's all like whatever fits your needs, like BU's more than willing to like accommodate for you.
Wow, that's so nice.
Yeah.
I think for Columbia it's like all classes are online, but I'm not sure about like for us attendance is not optional for every class, only for like if you can't, like if you're like literally on the other side of the world, I think.
Right.
But yeah, I didn't know that some schools did a completely learn from anywhere or
anywhere. Yeah,
yeah,
actually, yeah. And also like BU does also give the option to like go in person. So it's really like anything that works for you, any like whatever you want, you can like get. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And how is Boston in general?
Yeah, right now we are it's snowing. So yeah, so it's been a rough winter. It like suddenly picked up in like February, where like November, December, I remember I would still go out in shorts because it was like 50, 60 degrees. And so I was like, what's going on? And then like now we got hit with a winter storm, like snow like 8 to 10 inches like 2 weeks ago. And we're like, now I get it.
No more shorts.
Yeah. So Boston's really nice. It's just snowing, really cold, and I guess like nothing you can really do anymore. It's just winter now.
Yeah, because we're filming this today's February
19th.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is probably going to go up in March, so yeah, so that's why it's snowing now. Yes.
Yeah.
Just in case people were wondering if it's still, I mean, maybe it's snowing in March, who knows, but
yeah, Boston's infamous for snowing in March still, so yeah, I'm not gonna look too forward to it.
Yeah. Have you been in Boston before your first year of college?
I have, because my brother went to BC. So yeah, so every time like we went to drop him off, like we would go to BC, then like go around the campus, then go into Boston, grab food, and then like come back. So I've been to Boston a couple of times. It's just I never like really got to explore the city until I started living here.
Yeah. What are some things that you found out about Boston? Like some nice places to visit after the pandemic?
Yeah. So definitely pre-COVID, a lot of the best spots to eat, or like in Boston, where like was a place called the North End. It has like really good Italian food, really good like pastries, Italian pastry. It's kind of like basically like a little Italy in Boston.
Mhm.
And so that's where I go for like my pasta fix. But it also has really nice like other European like dishes or like food restaurants there. And besides like the North End, there's Chinatown. Uh, Unfortunately, like I have a bias towards New York City's Chinatown. I mean, we're both from there or from New York, so I love New York City Chinatown. But Boston's Chinatown is actually like it's really good too. And so like that's where I would go for like my Chinese food fix. And besides like food and restaurants, I guess Boston Commons is like it's kind of like the Boston version of Central Park. And so it's like its own like huge communal park with like a nice, it's like really pretty. And that's where a lot of people go to like just in the summer, they would just sit around, read, study books. That's where I would go to kind of just chillax, like after a weekend, a whole week of studying. So I would sometimes just take a blanket, go out there, have a picnic, or like just lay out in the sun in like springtime. So Boston Commons was definitely like the go-to place to like kind of just relax and like take a breather.
Yeah.
And then now during the pandemic, I guess, I mean, it's just really difficult to dine in. But what would help is, I guess, like going around the Esplanade. I don't know if you know too much about the Charles River, but it's like the main river that divides or like that cuts into Boston. And so Boston has a really nice park set up around it called the Esplanade. And it's like this huge runway going along both sides. So like, we have it on BU campus, and then on the other side is Harvard and MIT. And so like they have their own Esplanade going that way as well. And yeah, it's really beautiful to like walk along to like watch the sunset. And like, it's just a super nice, like well-made park, or like not park, I guess like I don't know how to call it, like a walkway.
Can you like cross into like the different parts of it? Like, do you visit Harvard and MIT, and do Harvard kids like visit BU a lot?
Yeah, there's a lot of bridges in between. So like so it's really easy to just cross over, go onto MIT campus and like Harvard campus. But although Harvard's in Cambridge is like a little further away from Boston. But yeah, it's super easy to just walk along the Esplanade. It's like a 20-30 minute walk. You cross over to MIT, and then like right on at the heart of MIT campus. So a lot of student orgs from BU are in contact with like all the so like that's another really great thing about Boston, because it is such a young city. Mm-hmm. So there's more than like 20 to 30 like schools within just such a small municipal area. And so like BU and like all the Boston schools are in close contact with each other. And so like I'm part of the Korean Students Association. And so BU KSA would always be in touch with BC KSA, Harvard, MIT, Northeastern, UMass Boston. So pre-COVID, we would always be like hanging out with each other, like creating events together, or like mixers. And so that was like a super fun way to just like reconnect or connect with people outside of your school. And obviously now post or like during the pandemic, it's like you just can't. But we still like reach out to them. We still like ask them to meet over Zoom. And so it's been like it's a really great way to like keep in touch with people outside of like my own community or like my own school.
But yeah, that is really nice, because I feel like it's a unique interactive experience like within the entire city.
Yeah, it's really cool to be able to kind of like, people are so different from like, they don't go to the same school as you, and like they're completely from like a different part of the world, or they might be, and just like they're all right, everyone comes together into like this one city. And it's like a really great experience to meet so many different people and all at once. And so it's been like super eye-opening for me, where like I get to meet, not only coming to BU where there's like over 20,000 undergrad students, but then now there's also all of these undergrad students from like so many different schools. And so it really like kind of like opens your eyes out to like how big like the world really is.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so it just expands your horizon so much more.
Mhm. Can you, like, if you meet a new person, can you tell which Boston school they're from?
Ooh, can I tell? I mean, you can tell. I think so. BU and BC had this like really heated rivalry over like hockey. So, in fact, like there's actually the four schools: BU, BC, Harvard, MIT. Actually, no, not MIT. Northeastern. They play in a huge tournament called the Beanpot, and this is like it has nothing to do with like the NCAA or like collegiate athletics. It's actually like a private tournament hosted by the four schools. And it's like an annual event where like all the four schools come together to like compete. And so like that's why there's always been like a huge heated rivalry between BU and BC. And so like I guess one way to tell is like BU students always say BC sucks, and then BC students always say that BU sucks. So that's like one of the first clear signs to like know between BU and BC. But between all the other schools, Harvard, MIT, Northeastern, it's like I don't know. I don't know if any other school really has like as
like
big a rivalry as like BU and BC does. Yeah.
I feel like with college kids though, like this might just be like because the schools give out free shirts. They always have like, or maybe they're just like repping their school. Like they always have they're wearing like the college gear. So I feel like that's a telltale sign of like where you're from.
Yeah.
I don't know about in Boston, but in New York sometimes.
Yeah, but I'm always guilty of like secretly having a Harvard sweatshirt. So yeah, everybody wears like different or like other schools' gear as well. So it's not like a huge issue. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's just a fun identifier. I don't know what it's but yeah. Outside of like KSA and research, are you involved in anything else?
Yeah. So actually, I mentioned about like minoring in a non-science subject. And so I came in wanting to minor in business. And unfortunately, I couldn't do it because it wouldn't fit within the 3 years alongside like the other science courses. So I couldn't really do my business minor. But with the free time that I had my sophomore year, I actually got to rush a business fraternity. So it's called Phi Chi Theta. And so I got to join a business fraternity that that to kind of like fulfill the need that or like what I wanted from like a business minor. And so that helped me like make a lot of connections to like other people in the business school. And so it helped me a lot to kind of fulfill like that missing experience from my undergrad. So it helped a lot, and it's helped me like with so many like just like learning more about like what business is like finance, accounting, like all the different fields of business. And it just made me a lot of new connections that I could never have made otherwise.
It's more real world. I feel like I mean, classes are really nice and helpful. They give you like the fundamental skills, but then like if you're in a more social environment or like your business frat, for example, it's like, what are people doing in the real world, like after graduation or during university too? Yeah.
So I'm like really glad that I had the time from undergrad, like given that I don't have to pursue like a rigorous major, that I could have the time to explore like other like social orgs or like other fraternities or other kind of just like expand like my social network. And so that helped a lot to kind of just dip my feet, I guess, in the waters of like a whole different, like a variety of like different subjects and interests.
Do you know what you want to like pursue? Like what would you apply your business knowledge to in the future?
With business, I just kind of wanted that background, not really particularly for anything. It's just like I kind of just wanted to, I guess, like become more of a leader in my like respective field. And so I just thought like having a business mindset would also help like become or like go into like entrepreneurship or like taking a leadership role within a hospital, or like being able to I guess like be at the forefront of like my like research or like medical career. Yeah. And so I kind of thought like being like somewhat connected to like business, like being connected or having like business ties just like would just help me a lot in my career. So that's kind of what like made me like reach out to a business fraternity.
Definitely. You said that you also wanted to do a PhD. Would that be like after your med school? and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's a lot of school. Yeah. So after so it would be like after the medical school, and after my residency, and then do another like 4 or 5 years for my PhD. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's cool. And I mean, your PhD doesn't have to be in science, right? It could be in, I mean, is that what you're leaning towards though?
Like the PhD could be towards as you said, like any subject, but I was hoping probably towards psychology or maybe neurology, something along like the lines of like the brain or like anything related to it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you want to be like a neurologist or like a neurosurgeon?
Not completely sure yet, but that's kind of where like I kind of just want to see like or like dip my feet into it and then see how it goes. But yeah, definitely something that I'm interested in.
Yeah, you still have your 4 years, or I guess like your medical school rotations, and then you'll figure out what you're actually interested in.
Yeah.
Are you excited for the next 4 years, like the actual medical school part?
Yeah. So I guess like now it's kind of weird in retrospect because had I known like COVID would have happened, I probably would have explored other like social orgs or like more classes my sophomore year. And so because now during the pandemic, I was planning to go abroad this semester.
Oh yeah.
But with the pandemic and everything, I can't go like to anywhere else. And so it kind of doesn't really fill me with regret because I could have done study abroad my freshman year. And I kind of had I known like this would have happened, I would have definitely done that my freshman year and like I would have also like taken other classes that I wasn't particularly like, or like I would have taken classes that I was like really interested in and like not really focused so much on like filling up the hub credits. And so it kind of going into medical school now, it makes me like wonder like I've really only had like a year and a half of like my undergrad. So like am I really ready to like take on like medical school? Like, and so it makes me kind of like sad, but also like there's nothing I can do to really like stop it. And you just got to keep like moving on along with it. And so I guess like instead of excited, it's just it's more of like there's nothing I can do to really like stop it. I guess it sounds like morbid, but I swear it's like not as bad as like you might think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it's just like it's what's coming next, whether or not you're ready. I mean, like I'm sure you are, but like whether or not like you're ready for it, it's like what is coming. And so preparing for the next step is the most important.
Yeah. So it really made me take a step back and like value the time that I have left in this semester to like really try to make something like try to make the most out of it. Yeah. Even though like it might not be as like the most as fun as it was like my freshman sophomore year, but it's still like I shouldn't be like sitting around my dorm like always just like sleeping at 4 a.m. and waking up at 12 anymore. Like I should really like go out and like just kind of like do the things that I want before like I get even busier in medical school.
Yeah. Do you think most of the people who you're friends with are from the program or kind of more like open because of all those social organizations you're part of?
Yeah, I think my freshman year, because like my classes were so difficult, I really relied on a lot of my friends in the program. And like that's how we all kind of bonded together because we were all going through the same thing and like it was so difficult. And so it was kind of like we're all in it together. So it really like created that big bond between the entire like class. And so and because we are a small group, we're only a class of 30. And so it really forms a tight-knit community by your first year. And so I think like after first year, I kind of wanted to explore and like make a or like kind of like expand my social network. And so that's where I really relied on like KSA and the business fraternity to kind of just like expand like my like friend group.
Yeah, that's nice. That's a good balance between your pre-med friends, or I guess like your medical track friends, and then like just people with different interests too.
Yeah. So definitely like with the free time that I had, it really allowed me to like get to know a lot more people at BU.
What about a general BU school tradition or campus tradition that you really like?
Ooh. So like BU is a huge hockey school. I never was a huge hockey fan until I came to BU. And then I just like, I still don't really get it, but just the vibe at hockey games are like so different. And like, because BU doesn't have a football team, like BU hockey has been like a huge thing. So going to hockey games, anytime like they're introducing the opponent team's like lineup, so they'd be like coming in at like forward, like number blah blah blah, like this person. What BU students do is like in the student section, they turn their backs, and then once they announce a player, they like turn around and say sucks. So like it'll be like introducing this player, and then BU students go sucks. So like it's been a huge tradition. It's like just like being at a BU hockey game, it's just different. Like you see like huge school spirit, and you just see like a bunch of students coming together, like just all in unity. And it's been a really fun, like it's just a vibe. Yeah.
That's such a funny tradition.
Yeah.
But what do they do when a BU player comes out? Cheering.
I forgot what they did. It's been so long since they've had hockey games, but I think it was just regular cheering.
like a normal
yeah,
team.
just like normal. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like BU has a lot of school spirit, right?
Yeah, especially last year. Do you know March Madness? So like it's like the huge NCAA basketball tournament, and BU made it for the first time in like years, and then COVID happened, and then so I remember like a lot of students were like really disappointed and not being able to go and like support their team.
Yeah, but congrats on making it.
Congrats to the athletes. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any remaining advice to offer to people who are either waiting for their college decisions now or who are in college and doing their thing? Yeah,
I guess definitely for people waiting for like their college admissions, it's definitely not worth your time to worry about like which schools you get into, because in the end, as long as you get into college, like that's what matters. It's not the school name or anything. It's just as long as you like college isn't the end of like life as you might know it. So definitely like look forward to the next 4 years moving on from high school. And for the people that are like going like deciding on their majors, like medicine or like whatever career path you choose, it's like not in a rush. Like definitely like being an upperclassman now, like you see so many like worries of freshmen and sophomores like deciding what career path they want to choose and like deciding what majors they want to be, and you kind of realize like you kind of just like figure things out in your first 2 years, and then like you have so much time in between to like meet friends and like take classes that you want to take. And so I guess like advice for them is to just kind of like go with the flow and then see where it takes you, like see what subjects interest you and then go with it.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I feel like, yeah, looking back also, I'm like, well, the times that I was like, oh my gosh, what do I like, even with class, like I need to get this class or I need to like get this like exactly right. And then everything at the last minute changes, like, okay, everything's fine anyway. Like everything turned out okay. And definitely on the larger scale too. Is there anyone you want to shout out or anything you want to plug, or anyone from your business frat or your student organizations or friends that you want to say hi to on the podcast?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, hi mom. I mean, if you ever watch this, I know my parents love like supporting you and like love hearing about you. They always ask about like what you're up to.
Really?
And so yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, so if you're watching this, I made it big, mom. Like,
So to wrap up the podcast, thank you, James, so much for being here and for sharing your wonderful experiences. And if you're watching this on YouTube as a video podcast, then please be sure to like and comment and subscribe down below. And if you're listening to this on any other podcast streaming platform, then be sure to give it a thumbs up and follow as well. And we end off the podcast, James, with a high five. So we're just gonna high five towards the camera, okay? In 3, 2, 1. Okay, yay, awesome. Thanks again. Woo!
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much for having me. This is fun. This is so much fun.
Thank you so much for joining us again, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.